Alright, welcome back to Corey's Mixed Bag, and tonight we're still playing Call of Cthulhu. The objective here is to complete the game and unlock all four endings in a single playthrough. So we're still in Chapter 9, well, the second part of Chapter 9. First part was in the asylum with Dr. Fuller, or some kind of puzzles. Anyways, um, and at the end of it, we found Sarah Hawkins and freed her. So pretty much this second section of chapter 9 is just we're getting back together with Sarah Hawkins and Algernon. So I'm just going to read what it says here. Chapter 9, Hawkins Mansion. After the death of Colton, Mary Colton, Pierce, victim of hallucinations, advanced inside the Riverside Institute to the point of discovering Sarah Hawkins, alive, prisoner of Dr. Fuller. The last confrontation between Charles Hawkins and his wife has revealed that the man under the monstrous appearance tried to protect her from the influence of the myth. He warned Pierce if Sarah succumbs to the lure of the occult, she will lose all free will, allowing the cult to bring its plan to fruition. Anyways, summon an ancient and evil god. Henceforth, Pierce must know more about Sarah Hawkins' intentions to find a way to protect her. Alright, so let's get in there. Sorry about the language. I'm French Canadian, so I'm not necessarily that great in English. But, anyways.
Knowing it's me that put him there. The guilt will never go away.
So both of them escaped from the institute and got there. So now they're back at the mansion. The mansion is kind of like a hub. There's a couple of chapters where like the characters get together to get together and move on and connect to other chapters. So this is kind of the reveal of what really happened with the fire and all that. So this is like the confrontation between Charles and Sarah Hawkins. She's just trying to protect the their child. And he's kind of jealous of the fact that she has a connection with the myth or the Cthulhu or whatever. So that's what's the fire in the mansion that unfortunately killed the kid. And apparently it's the only character that got killed in the whole thing. As the caretaker is gonna save Sarah from the fire. Chester. The little toy soldier. Now she's gonna have it in her hands, give it to her son, give it back to the tomb, or the grave of her son. But the even though it kind of burned, like in that visual representation of it, it wasn't burned at all. It was like intact. So here we have like the Leviathan. Somehow Pierce fell asleep there. Alright, so we're back in the mansion. Very well done though. Like the look of it, I must say. Like the lighting is very well rendered. It's good because you see it more than once. All right, let's go check.
We were waiting for you.
Sarah doesn't have much time.
What are you doing here?
Did you think I would let you confront the occult without supervision?
This is too dangerous for a bookworm like you.
Algernon,
Bookworm.
I need to talk to Mr. Pierce.
Very well, Sarah. I will be in Charles Hawkins' office.
So in this section, it's a little section. It's not a big thing, and there's a little bit of puzzles and all that. But the important parts here is to answer in Relia when you get a chance to answer this
Seem different.
dialogues or ask questions
When I
with
woke
the
up this morning,
those
my
pieces of
nerves were
dialogues.
cleaner. I can still hear the voice calling me. It is so strong, so ancient, enticing, dangerous.
The hands are
I
like
may never be able to
clipping
just
through her
answer it,
dress.
but for now, I can keep it there. I know what I owe you, Mr. Pierce, but I can't come back to Boston with you.
All right, I'll just like answer with this.
The tunnels,
Don't really have to
rituals.
pick any specific language.
I must get you out of its reach.
I know how dangerous they can be to me. But first, there's the Wanderer. I must find it and kill it. I am the only one who can end its slaughter.
No. No, you will come with me to Boston.
I owe you no obedience.
This isn't about what you want or don't want to do. You would risk destroying the world just because you can't face the consequences of your actions.
I am willing to atone for my sins.
No. You're just trying to erase all proof of the mistakes you've made.
I know what I have done. I will not rest until the creature is sent back to its dimension.
It's just a lot of talking. Anyways, here this is one important answer. You have to select all those Reliers language answers or questions or whatever they mean. I don't know, but anyways, you have to select this to unlock the ending.
Still, I won't let you go.
What?
You will stay here until I find a safe way to return.
It's one of the conditions to unlock all four endings at the end.
Protect me. Help him find what he seeks, and we may all survive this battle.
All right. I'll help you.
So we're kind of teaming up, her and Algernon, with the main character of Pierce to get to get rid of the creatures or the extra dimensional creatures going around. So here I'm gonna have another
You again.
answer in Aurelius.
I'm here for her, not you.
I don't care why you're here. Your usefulness is the only thing that matters. How do we protect Mrs. Hawkins from the influence of the forces that claim her?
I find this part of the chapter, it's just like walking back and forth between two characters. It's kind of like not that interesting, but
Could.
I don't know. I felt like the distance between two characters didn't have to be that
Free to ask
that
me any
long,
question regarding the matters that exceed
since there's no
grasp.
gameplay apart from like running and walking between two characters. So there you go. That's the other part that I have to choose.
I see that you are interested in my precious book. It is the definitive book of knowledge of the occult, Mr. Pierce, written by Abdul Al-Hazm. It is the answer to many a question.
So those are Abdul Azra, this is a character from,
Given to me as a gift by Professor Armitage of Miskatonic.
and also Professor Armitage and Miskatonic universities are also characters and names of environment from the original work of H.P. Lovecraft. The Professor Armitage doesn't appear in the writing of the Call of Cthulhu, the book itself, but in another piece of the mythos. It's like a series of novels or short stories that are part of the Call of Cthulhu mythos. Let's just pick this.
You must have already found a way to rid it.
I sense your sarcasm, but it does happen that, yes, I do have a solution.
So
I can destroy it.
Algernon
I
and
must approach the
Sarah Hawkins are gonna fight
to do so.
together.
Another one of your qualities.
It is no
The Shambler,
It is a very powerful protection.
and
Both held very
that's one
powerful
of the
much more effective than your
chapter where I'm not playing as Edward Pierce, but as Merrick Calden. Not Merrick Calden, but as Sarah Hawkins. I play Merrick Calden in the previous
star with an eye.
chapter, chapter
Where can we
8.
find it?
Therein lies the problem. That foul thief Charles has hidden it somewhere. I found this drawing among his personal effects. I think
So it's a lot of talking just to tell me that I have to find the amulet in the house, and that's like
what I intend to
a little puzzle. It's not too complicated because once you've done it in the game, like the answer is always the same, so it's not too complicated. So I have like this picture of statues. There's statues all over the house. So anyways, I'm not gonna insist here. All right. I think you can see one around the like the main building or the main room. Like there's one here, but that's not it. It's always in the same position. It's kind of like disappointing because there's a lot of chapters where things move around and kind of a procedural aspect of the game, and that makes it more interesting, more fun, and more fresh since you have to go around the game in different like multiple time, and it's like the answers are in different places, so it's interesting. It's more fun. Here it is. So this is easy to remember. Alright. And there's
Sarah Hawkins telling the truth.
kind of like a little reconstructions to do here. It's kind of like the conjuring or something like that, like some kind of like
What kind of
ritual that was going on with Sarah Hawkins.
was the painting of the Shambler displayed here? Mrs. Hawkins never told me why she was in possession of the Necronomicon. How did she survive her encounter with the Shambler?
Shambler materialized here.
Knowing Mrs. Hawkins, I bet she was willing to fight. Did Charles Hawkins break the lock to enter?
And yeah, that's it for this thing.
If the amulet can protect Sarah Hawkins from the influence of the mythos, we must find it.
So I'm gonna go get the amulet. It's kind of that little display here. So it's in that little box there. Take the amulets out.
This is the amulet that Drake
They're really key. All right. Show the amulet to Drake. Let's go. Just gonna run around. It's just like walking through a corridor, pretty much, like from point A to point B. It's kind of not that great in terms of gameplay, but anyways. So, alright, that was good. That was done. So I'll give him the amulet.
Let me see that. Yes, that's it. It's perfect. We are saved.
I'm
again, run through that corridor. Let's go get Mrs. Hawkins, Sarah Hawkins. Tell her what's up. There she is. At least I didn't have to go all the way there.
I have it. It's a strange amulet. I hope it will protect you, considering that nothing will help you change your mind.
You must understand.
And that'll be the end of the chapter 9, where I'm going to be arrested.
I can't tell you now.
This story is going to end badly.
Yes. Chief West is here with Sullivan.
Bradley,
Bradley comes out of nowhere. He was in the mansion the whole time. Never know.
I've been hearing about you a lot.
So Pierre's gonna give himself up to the police.
Causing trouble.
That's going to prison.
nice job, Chief. You got it. Great.
You can try to play smart with me all you want, Pierce. Witnesses have identified you as the one who set fire to Riverside.
Witnesses. How convenient. That's not the whole story, is it?
I don't care about your stories. Save them for the judge.
Alright.
Us cops, we base our investigation on facts and testimonies. You might want to try that next time.
So I'll end this video here. We're gonna get to the next chapter, and we'll see. This is the end of chapter 9 part 2. So that was a little bit of a puzzle here. There were some elements to discover that are related to the 4 endings of at the end of the game. So I think we nailed those. So I'm gonna end this here and start another video for chapter 10. So don't hesitate to subscribe, give me comments, ask me questions. Don't hesitate to communicate with me. It'll be a pleasure for me to try to respond as best as I can in regard to the game or anything related to video games in general. And since I'm a level designer on video games already, I'm already have a little bit of knowledge and interest in video games in general, and I'm kind of passionate about it, so don't hesitate to talk about that kind of stuff with me. It'll be my pleasure. Anyways, this is the end for this one, so thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.